So this is a wild story. In 1931, after the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, Macy's released a giant blue hippopotamus into the skies over New York City, and it was never seen again. Nearly a century later, I was at Macy's studios in New Jersey as Macy's kicked off the 100-day countdown to the 100th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, where they made a special announcement. The blue hippopotamus was coming back. This is the mystery of Macy's missing hippo. Starting in 1928, Macy's had a pretty unusual tradition. At the end of the Thanksgiving Day Parade, they would release the giant helium balloons into the sky, but there was a catch. Each balloon had a return address attached to it, along with a note offering a cash reward to anyone who found it and returned it to Macy's. So after the parade, these enormous balloons were basically set loose over New York, and Macy's would wait to see where they ended up. It was essentially a citywide scavenger hunt, except the thing you were looking for was a giant floating cartoon character, which sounds fun in theory, until you remember that these were enormous balloons floating completely uncontrolled over New York, and the blue hippopotamus became one of the more memorable examples. The blue hippopotamus debuted at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 1931. After the parade, it was released into the sky and apparently disappeared. The New York Times described the balloon being swept away to within inches of the Empire State Building before drifting west toward Brooklyn. Days later, it was still at large, with reports suggesting it had made its way out to the Atlantic, but it was never found. In any case, the balloon release tradition was about to come to an end. In 1932, just over Jamaica, Queens, a pilot was trying to capture one of these 60-foot tall balloons when the balloon became tangled with the airplane, sending it into a tailspin. The plane did manage to land safely, but that was basically the end of Macy's letting its balloons loose into the wild. From then on, the balloons would be deflated, packed up, and saved for another parade. After disappearing into the New York skies nearly a century ago, one of the parade's most wonderfully strange characters is finally coming home and will appear at the 100th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So that's kind of interesting.